What I want to teach you is about the Java final keyword. This final keyword allows you to create constants, prevent inheritance, and to prevent method overriding. So let me give you the first example where we can use the final keyword to create a constant. So in here, what I want to demonstrate first is if I have var, and then here I'm going to say name equals to Alex. So now check this out. If I print Alex, so I'm going to print name. If I run this, have a look, we have Alex, nice and simple. But what I can actually do is I can say name equals to, and then Jamila, for example. Now check this out. So we went from name being Alex to the name being Jamila. So here, if I run this, you can see that now the name is Jamila. But often this is really bad practice. And if you want to avoid the scenario where maybe later down the line of your program, you don't want users to have the ability of reassigning the initial variable into another value, you can just stick the final keyword. So here I'm going to say final and then var name. Now at this point, check this out. So here it says cannot assign a value to a final variable, which means that this is no longer possible. There we go. I need to comment that out because otherwise it won't compile. Now if I run, we still have Alex and no reassignment is possible. Now you have to be careful. So here, let's just have a final, and then I'm going to say point p equals to new point. And here, so if I try to say p equals to new and then point, this is not possible because it's final here, right? But if I remove this, you can see that I can do this. But what I want to show you is the fact that even though this field right here, this variable is final, we can still go and say p dot y equals to and then 10. So have a look. So here we said p dot y. Now why we can do this? Well, the reason being is that if I navigate to the point class, I'm just going to press command and then click on it, and you can see the keyboard shortcut. The x value in here, it's not final. Therefore, I can actually do this. I can say p dot y equals to 10 or p dot y equals to and then 80 or 90. And my bad, if I go back in here, this was the coordinate, so the y coordinate and not the x. But because this is not final, I can actually perform this on the fields themselves. And we're going to learn more about objects and classes later, but for now, just be aware of scenarios like this. So here, if you want to reassign this, you cannot because it's final. Now, you might be asking, okay, so shall I basically have all my local variables as final? Well, the answer to that is no. So usually you'd have this when you want to create a constant. So here, a constant would be something like this. So if I just take this and I can say public and then static, paste that, and I cannot use the var keyword in here, but instead this has to be the actual type. And for constants, this the naming convention is all uppercase, so name and then Alex. So this now is basically a good approach for creating constants. So here, static, you know that static belongs to the class itself. Final means that you cannot basically reassign this, and public means public basically. So this is one way of using the final keyword to create a constant. Now a constant is just a value that does not change. So in here, if I just want to show you another example. So here, if I right here say south and then math dot and then pi. Now have a look. So this is the value of pi. If I click on this, so I've just pressed command, but have a look. Public static final double pi equals. So let me just navigate into that and have a look. The double value that is closer than any other to pi, the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. We know that this value right here does not change, right? So does not change. Therefore, this can be a constant. So have a look. So this is how we create constants. Now, I will show you later, so when we learn about classes and objects, that having the final keyword on the properties of your classes is really important. But this is more on the advanced side of things. But for now, know that basically if you want to create a constant, say public static and then final and then the variable name. If you have local variables, then I don't advise you to do this, because the Java compiler does all the optimization and it knows that if you don't reassign this right here, then it knows how to compile this code to its best without you having to worry about reassignment. So more on the final keyword, especially when it comes to inheritance and method overriding, which we haven't covered that, and that's later. So we'll come back to the final keyword because it has multiple usages. If you have any questions, drop me a message. Otherwise, let's move on.